Hi everyone, my name is Lauren Robinson. I'm a career counselor here at Career Services. Super excited to be talking with you about job internship search strategies. I know it's a really big topic when we're looking for jobs, maybe in school, out of school, 10 years down the road. So it's just a great kind of conversation to have and to continue to have. So I will kind of get started for today. We will start by talking about networking, kind of why it's important, how to do it, what are some good places to start or how to think about that, how to actually effectively job search, maybe some things you've already done, can continue to do or start to do, and then just what we offer here at Career Services, because we do offer a lot of things. But before we kind of get into it, I think it's important to kind of go over just some general facts about why the job search is such a struggle or can be frustrating. It typically takes about 3 to 6 months to find a job. Now, within that, it could be that you found a job, but part of the process of getting that job is the interviewing, the background checks, the checking resources, references, things like that. So it can be really a long process. And so it's good to give yourself time and just kind of know that this is a marathon, not a sprint. And a lot of things aren't up to you. A lot of things are just kind of the red tape on the back end behind the scenes. Additionally, employers on average take 20 to 30 seconds when looking at your documents. I've even seen it as short as 6 to 10 seconds. So it just kind of depends on who is reviewing documents. But with that in mind, it's good to make sure that your documents are quality, even if you are making a lot of those documents tailored to those opportunities. And this one hurts my heart when I kind of think about it, but less than 30% of job openings are advertised, which is really why we're going to start talking about networking to begin with, because a lot of the things that are open that you would maybe be qualified for may not be on LinkedIn or on Indeed or those search engines. So it's good to kind of keep that in mind that you aren't even really seeing a lot of the opportunities that you could be good for. So with that, we will start talking about some things to think about even before you start hitting apply or submit. It's good to spend some time really taking time with your resume and cover letters. Now, I know with my students, I get a lot of questions about they don't require a cover letter. Should I even do it? And personally at Career Services, and personally for me, I always recommend taking the time to do a cover letter. It just makes things look a little bit more professional and that you are really invested in the job and opportunity. So with your resume, we just want to make sure that it is showing off how you are the best candidate possible. We want this to be a short kind of document. Avoid using personal pronouns, so no I's, me's, or my's. Having good professional fonts, so like Times New Roman, Tahoma, anything, nothing super scripty is really kind of what we're looking for here. Avoid templates, avoid resume builders, avoid Canva. I know people love to do those things, but it really should just be a boring Word doc and in black and white. Include experiences and accomplishments, things that you're super proud of, and then have as many people kind of help critique your documents to make sure that the typos are not there, and that formatting and style is consistent throughout. For cover letters, again, we want 1 page for both of these documents, so it's a short, sweet, and to the point, and that we can get as much information to these employers as possible. We really want this to be a formal kind of business letter format. So we want to do the research to make sure that it's addressed to that employer, dear Mr. So-and-so, Mr. Smith, Mrs. Robinson, things like that. We don't want a lot of those I statements as well. And then every cover letter should be tailored to whatever job you're applying for. Same with your resume. Those should be tailored to the best experiences that speak to you as the best candidate. Tell them how you fit with the organization, really illustrate how you are a good communicator, and illustrate how you need them for growth as a young professional or a professional. I think that's always a great opportunity as well to kind of show how you're excited about their company and their organization. We'll kind of roll into networking now after we have those documents ready to go. It's important that we need to show good networking because that's really how we're going to get into companies when things may be on LinkedIn or may not. So this is networking in person, via email and on LinkedIn as well. So it's important because it's a great way to interact with companies and individuals who do the hiring, even before you are applying or while you're applying or even while you're meeting people in the real world. So being an effective communicator is really building rapport, building a good kind of knowledge of who you are, that you can kind of take throughout your career. So even when you are in your master's program, in your undergrad, really when you are working at volunteer opportunities, those are all great ways to network, because you never know where those people may end up, and those could be great people to leverage for jobs in the future. And so this is really where a majority of jobs are found, is through networking, because a lot of companies will put things out internally before they will put opportunities out externally. So if people know of jobs that you may be a good fit for, they may send that to you before it even becomes posted externally. So that's a great thing to keep in mind. Again, the research says 70 to 80% of jobs are found via networking. And so it's just a great way to have someone who's advocating for you on the inside, saying, I don't want this job, or that opportunity won't fit for me, but hey, I know this person from college, or I know this person from church or other organizations that I'm involved in. They can really speak to who you are and how you would be a great candidate. Typically, when you network, you have shorter out of work times. And so again, there's ranges there just because the job pool is different here and there, but it does shorten that time if you know people who can be advocating for you on the inside. If you learning more about the field and kind of seeing what's available in it, and then getting to know your people. So attending conferences, getting to know who they are outside of work, really kind of making those personal connections can really help increase your network just throughout your professional career. Good places to network. Informational interviews, job shadows, conferences are great. People are really there to mingle and kind of talk and get to know each other. Other events, kind of just, there's companies that put on networking events, and that's great to find new talent, and that could be you. But also when you have that job, it's good to remember, hey, I got a job through networking. I'm going to go find people who I can also network with and find talent as well. Career fairs. So I know even at SLU, we have career fairs, and our alum are always welcome to come back and network there. Those are great opportunities to leverage as well. Social networking sites, so like LinkedIn, those are great sites as well. We do have Handshake, so that could also be a great opportunity to use as well. Young professional groups. I think a lot of fields have professional organizations that can be great opportunities to network with. They also put on conferences and events like that. So even getting in there and finding ways to connect and network is awesome too. Past internships, faculty, advisors, family friends, really anyone you can network with is a great opportunity. Family is a great network to have. So maybe while that may be difficult for some, just kind of finding people who you know or have known for a long time who can speak to who you are is a great thing to keep in mind too. Good networking really starts with good research. So knowing if there is a company you want to network with, if there's a specific person within a company, like an HR person, finding good ways to get to know them specifically. So know their background, know who they are. That can be helpful when you're having conversations with them. It can be helpful to kind of talk about, hey, I saw on LinkedIn that you went to so-and-so university. My parents went there. I really love getting to tour there, and I think it's a great place. What did you love about it? Those are all great kind of things to kind of start to break the ice, to show that you are invested in them. But also too, knowing your own career goals, that could be helpful too, of kind of knowing maybe how you have similar paths and knowing how maybe it's good to just find similarities to make good networking connections. But personally too, it's also good for you to know your own goals so you can communicate that and advocate for yourself. So we don't want you straight up asking, do you have any jobs? But I think sometimes those come in conversation of, they may ask what you're doing now, and you could be honest about, I'm in the job search right now, and I'm really looking for companies to grow with. I'm really looking for great um, you know, XYZ career paths, and kind of having questions for them as well is also good to have when you're networking. Um, it's also good to have kind of a pitch in mind when you are networking with people. And so that's kind of an elevator pitch. Maybe people know it of it that way. But it's good to maybe kind of have that kind of worked out in your head, that you can just kind of go with on the fly. I know I've been able to interview a couple times now. And so really at the drop of a hat, I've been able to kind of create a pitch for myself. And that comes with time and practice. And so it's good to kind of be able to have some sort of pitch where you can communicate really formally within 30 to 45 seconds, kind of what your skills, background, characteristics, your hopes for your future career, what those can be. And that is really good to kind of communicate even to when you are in person, those good kind of confident communication tactics, good eye contact, firm handshakes, and that this pitch can look just like that in person, but also in an email. You can type all of that out, and it can be super polished and ready to go. You can kind of have that template, and even you can do lots of things by sending like messages on LinkedIn as well. So it's good to kind of have something to where you introduce yourself, give some background of yourself, kind of give your goals in a polished and respectful way. Sometimes it's as informal and conversational. So sometimes it can be super formal, but sometimes it can be more relaxed, just depending on how the approach is made. So the big points on your pitch is we want to establish who you are. Pitch your strengths, pitch your goals, any good skills that you have, any good certifications you may have had in the past, your areas of expertise, some accomplishments, and then you're also wanting to kind of clarify what you're looking for, what your values are, any kind of advice or questions you may have for people. So it's good to basically give that information, introduce yourself, advocate for yourself, and kind of show how you are as a young professional or a professional at large. So now we've kind of briefly run through what networking is and what it can be. And so now we're going to kind of jump into how we actually job search. So first of all, it's kind of good to know ourselves and know what we're looking for. So we want to know what we're searching for. So in the past, we might have been looking for internships, or maybe we're looking for maybe new jobs now. Maybe we're looking for job shadows or just people, good information. So we kind of want to know what titles to look for, what industry, any companies that may have good specifically are working in that field. It's good to kind of have those lists maybe in mind, maybe have some Excel sheets kind of going of titles you've seen in the past that interest you. A big one would be where you're wanting to end up. So location. So if you're wanting to move closer to family, further away from family, I don't know. Or maybe you're just kind of wanting a new scene, a new space. It's good to kind of know location wise. When do you want to start? That could kind of put some timelines on if there are deadlines, open, close dates, things like that. It's also good to kind of think through salary and kind of, when I talk to students about kind of job search, I kind of have them think through maybe what their monthly budget would be, and then kind of how to gain some information on what salaries for entry-level jobs, other level jobs kind of would be. So then we kind of know, hey, what's a good range to be looking for when we are looking for jobs. And then there's other goals to kind of keep in mind as well, but these are just brief. So if there's others that you have in mind, maybe keep some lists, some kind of logs of what is important to you and what to look for in that job. And then brainstorm kind of where to find those jobs. A lot of my students will find success in looking up companies that they're interested in and kind of looking to see what is available, looking for network connections. So maybe they're looking to find maybe some data analytics opportunities. And so they'll go find people in a company who are doing data analytics and just kind of chat with them to see if there's any openings, or just to kind of talk about their experience with that company. Some people like to look in location, so they'll look up, they'll Google search kind of their location. But these are just some places to look online. And Handshake is great. Looking up company sites, looking up job boards for specific organizations. LinkedIn is great. Idealist is great. Government jobs, so usajobs.com. Again, networking. And sometimes I've had students have great success just looking on Google, looking for a job title and a city or state that they're interested in, and hitting enter. And so it can really look like anything. It just kind of depends on what you're looking for. Specifically, when we do start to find those, when we are on those job boards, filter, filter, filter. I say it so many times in my meetings, but you want to start searching with big, broad terms. And so I work with public health students, and so we always kind of just start with big, broad public health terms. And then when we start to see things pop up, other job titles may pop up too. So then we'll look at those jobs, see if those interest us, and then maybe add that to our search. But I really want students to see if that is something that they're interested in, or if that's something that's completely boring to them. And so it's just good to kind of start big to then work our way down. And then if there are repeat job titles that keep coming up that you have really never thought you'd be a good fit for, really look in and take a deeper dive of those. It's good to kind of favorite those searches. You can even set search like alerts. So I know sometimes I'll get past job searches to my email saying, hey, this job is open. You can maybe look on that. So it's a good way to kind of save some things to look back on, or have things kind of work for you and pop up in the background. I will always recommend going to SLU's LinkedIn page and going to the alumni tab and looking there too about seeing who is what jobs people are doing, to kind of help look for job titles or internship titles or things like that, to see, hey, that internship was available in the past, or that job title I've never even heard of. Because a lot of times I have students who want to do epidemiology or biostats, but those are just, big, broad titles, that there are parts of those jobs that could be available, but just titled a different way within companies. So it's good to kind of think, okay, I like social work, or I like education, or I like this specific kind of business. But what are parts of those that I like that I can also maybe throw into the job search as well? And then narrowing your search, like I said, location is also helpful too. So looking through kind of a Google search, a Google looking at maps and things like that to utilize kind of, then where could I see myself? So where could I then look for, roles and things like that? It's helpful to look at those deadlines too. So could you get an application together in a couple of days, or do I need maybe more time to do a good to put something well together? And then what kind of documents do you need? Again, they may not ask for a cover letter. I always recommend it. Resumes, references, things like that. So this all could take time, but it's good to kind of start looking to see what you need to pull together. When we use those online systems, it's good to read through the job descriptions. You can always add those kind of terms into your documents. It's good when maybe companies might use applicant tracking systems, so that things may be sorted automatically. So it's also good to kind of read through, not only for the application process, but just knowing for yourself, what are those mission and values of those companies? Does that align with you? If not, it might not be a good use of your time to apply. But if it does, you may want to highlight that in your cover letter or through your resume. You want the documents to read like you already belong there. So we want this to be authentic. We want this process to show that you are the best candidate. So if you authentically feel like you are a good fit, talk about those mission and value statements. always write a cover letter. And then this is kind of where that networking process comes. If you are applying online, I always recommend reaching out to an HR person, expressing your excitement and your interest in the role, telling them that you've applied, you would love to talk to them further about the role, and if they need anything from you in the process, that you are available for that as well. Lastly, career services, we are happy to help at any point of this process. So we can look over those resume and cover letters. We have mock interviews. So if you need help prepping for an interview that comes up because you did an awesome job in the job search, we can help with that, and maybe more on a one-on-one basis. If you need help with your LinkedIn, and just really anything else that you could need, we are happy to help with. You can make appointments if you still have access to EAB, great. If not, you can email us or call us at our office. And then we are open Monday through Friday. We have drop-in hours from 3:30 to 4:30 Monday through Friday. And we are located at the lower level of Griesdeck Hall. And then our email address is right there. And I recommend you all follow us on social media, because a lot of times employers take over our site. So you would be able to kind of connect with them too, and then just have good information as well. So thank you all so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you.